This video is intended to be instructional for contractors performing work in the state of Tennessee at petroleum underground storage tank sites, and specifically addressing monitoring well sampling. As with any other environmental sample, put on clean disposable gloves prior to beginning the sampling. Gloves should be changed between wells and as often as necessary to prevent contamination of the sample. In order to prevent unnecessary agitation of the water sample, the clean disposable baler must be lowered slowly into the well when collecting the sample. Be sure to keep the baler string from touching the ground or any other contaminated surface. There are two ways of doing this that are easy. One is looping the string in your hands, or carefully placing the string onto a clean decontaminated surface or bucket. When collecting metals or PAH samples, the sample may be poured directly into the bottle. Do not overfill metal samples to prevent preservative loss. Fill filtering of metal or PAH samples is required unless you have already confirmed with your laboratory that they perform the filtering prior to analysis. When collecting samples for volatile organic analysis, it's important to slowly fill the vials to prevent unnecessary agitation. Insert the sampling tube into the disposable baler and adjust the flow to a trickle. Hold the VOA sample vial at an angle as shown and allow the water to trickle into the vial. By holding the vial at this angle, the water will flow down the inside, reducing agitation of the sample. Be sure to avoid overfilling of the vial to prevent preservative loss. This simple procedure will result in a more representative sample. If controlling the flow is a problem with the traditional sample tube provided you, you may bend the tube at an angle as shown and then restrict the flow as desired. This will allow better control, easily preventing aeration of the sample and loss of preservative by overfilling. Another method to control the flow of water into the vial is the use of a VOA sampler in place of the sampling tube provided with the baler. Simply insert the sampler into the filled baler, hold the vial at the angle shown, and fill until only a small space remains. To prevent bubbles in the vial, a few drops of water may be added from the lid to build a meniscus as shown. Carefully lower the lid on the vial after the meniscus is built and tighten. Then turn the vial upside down and thump lightly to check for bubbles. If any bubbles are found, the sample cannot be submitted for analysis and a new sample must be collected. After collection, all samples should be immediately labeled and placed on ice in a clean cooler. Samples must be maintained at 4 degrees centigrade until analyzed by the laboratory. This concludes the monitoring well sampling tutorial.